Well, howdy folks. Been a while since I did a review, so I thought I'd give you an opinion on the Lansky Turn Box. Now, sharpening is a bit of an art, and it can take a little while to figure it out and to get your angles right and to be consistent. And that's really the most important thing, is being consistent when you're sharpening things. One of the tools that I've found that makes life a whole lot easier is this little Lansky Turn Box. So this is a little turn box system. Comes with 4 rods, 2 diamond rods and 2 ceramic rods, and those just sit in the end of this little box. And then in the box itself, in this little wooden box from Lansky, they've got drilled 20-degree holes and 25-degree holes. So the idea is that you can put those rods into those holes and you've got exactly 20 degrees. And then all there is for you to do is to hold your knife straight up and down and run it down those rods, and that should give you an exact, or thereabouts, 20 degree. And it seems to be a lot easier to do this a bunch of times than it is to use a stone and get, you know, the exact right angle the whole time and keep that consistent. Now this little Lansky turn box and rod system has really, crock rods I guess is what they're called, has really, I mean, changed things for me in terms of sharpening. I do use a stone, certainly out in the field and things like that, and I use a stone for my axes and all sorts of other stuff. But this is kind of one of those no-brainer kind of systems that really does work extremely well. So like I say, it's got a couple of different degrees here. So the 20 degree is typically good for kind of your standard kitchen knives, your paring knives and that kind of thing that you're going to find in your kitchen and that sort of thing. The 25 degree one is going to be good for things like your pocket knives and your hunting knives, maybe your bushcraft knives, depending on what you call them. So it's really important to just know what exactly your knife is supposed to have in terms of angles. Now the Mora knives, for example, like a Mora Classic or the Granbergs or things like that, they're going to have a 27 degree pitch on them. So, you know, I mean, close enough. The 25, that's probably going to do it for you. And that works, I find, pretty good for the Mora knives. And again, gives you, you know, kind of shaving close accuracy or sharpness with those. Now, your kitchen knives, like I say, are typically about 20 degrees. And the one thing that I do find lacking on this Lansky is a sharper degree for sort of more precision knives. So for things like your filleting knives or something like that, a filleting knife is typically between a 12 and 15 degree. You know, your Japanese kind of kitchen knives are going to be a 12 degree grind on them. I've got, you know, an old Henkel's, or a nice Henkel's kitchen chef knife that's a 15 degree. And you really want to keep that angle. Now, for something like that, that's a really nice sharp angle to have on something like a filleting knife. Obviously, that angle or that edge isn't going to hold up to a more, you know, robust kind of beating, like a you know, a bushcraft knife is. So that's why you put a 25 degree on something, or a 30 degree on a, you know, on a chopping knife or something like that. It's just going to give it a tougher edge. It's gonna take up more abuse, basically. But for your precision stuff, for your fine edges on a nice kitchen knife like that, on a nice chef's knife, or on your filleting knife, you probably want to go with something more like a 15 degree. And again, the box was only going to give me 20 and 25. So what I did is I customized it a little bit, and on my drill press at home, I just set the deck on my drill press to 15 degrees and flipped the box over and drilled my own 15-degree holes. So now I've got myself a nice 15-degree set of holes, and the rods fit in. Now I believe that was a 5/16 drill bit, but you can check the holes yourself at home. And now I've got a nice 15-degree set of holes to do my filleting knives and my kitchen knives that you know, require a little bit sharper an edge on them, a little bit finer an edge. And like I say, this thing really, it's amazing how well it actually works. So what I typically do is I'll run the diamond rods for a number of strokes until it starts to feel like we're getting a pretty decent edge on there. And then I'll give it a good strop. And this is just a strop that I made with an old piece of belt and a piece of plywood that I glued it to, and then I put just some polishing compound on the belt itself. So again, just trying to take those burrs off of the edge of the knife with the strop. And once I've got those off and it feels like it's getting pretty sharp, then I'll switch those diamond rods out to the ceramic ones just for that final little extra bit of sharpness. And I typically do one side, just back and forth, and make sure I'm getting it even. If the knife is, you know, pretty banged up and kind of needs an extra bit of attention, you can always give it a bit of a, you know, a rougher grit with a stone or something like that, and then move over to the diamond after that, just to get your edge back or whatever. But you know, this Lansky really does give a really nice edge. It's very consistent, so it ensures that consistency throughout your sharpening process, and just make sure that you don't, you know, get a little bit off. So I found it to be a pretty decent unit. So that's about it. I just wanted to let people know that it is really an awesome little unit, and that you can add your own touches to it. So that's a 15. I've got room here to do another one. I just did about a 1/2 inch hole at those angles, again on my drill press at home, and so if you want to add some new angles to it, if you've got some different knives, you could certainly do that. But it's been a great little unit, and yeah, pretty impressed with it. So just a short little review for you, but yeah, those are awesome. So I highly recommend the Lansky Turn Box sharpening unit. There you go.